since 2000, when this whole .com digital environment came about, digital economy, the whole model is based on taking people's data and attention for granted and feeding them with interruptive forced ads.
Fahim, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Good to be here, thank you.
We're going to talk about your company Puckit, and we're going to talk about Instagram. And there's a lot of people out there that aren't getting rewarded for when they put pictures out on Instagram or videos. Right, so you're going to tell us a little bit about Puckit and what Puckit do.
Sure. So I've been a digital marketer for about 10 years. And for every brand out there, content is king.
Yeah.
Nowadays, more than millions of photos and videos are being shared by consumers on social media platforms. But brands don't really appreciate mass consumers for the value they bring to the table.
Okay.
And we think they provide a great source of word of mouth, authentic word of mouth. That if we encourage more and more consumers to share their experiences out there, and if we appreciate them for it, then we don't need to go through paid advertising. So with Puckit, what we did was to really empower people to own their voice on social media platforms, starting with Instagram, so that every time I go to a cafe or a restaurant, I take a photo with my friends and family, I share it out there, then because of the value I'm creating on those platforms for those cafes and restaurants.
Product placement,
then I would get rewarded in return.
Okay.
So in a way, as a customer, I feel appreciated and valued by those brands that I engage with.
We've heard of other companies that are out there doing something similar. How are you guys different? Because I know with some you can get rewarded with money, some you can get rewarded with, say, for argument's sake, you go into a particular brand of coffee shop and you take a photo and you get over 50 likes, you might get a free coffee. How are you guys different? Because I think, am I right by saying that if they do with you, they get rewards through your company?
So there are two groups of companies that compete with us indirectly and directly.
Okay.
First group are influencer marketing platforms.
Right.
The major difference between what we do and what they do is that they connect brands with influencers out there who may not necessarily be brand customers.
What would you call an influencer? Anyone with over
5,000 followers, and the kind of contents that they share with the hashtags and the framing and the branding that they have is tailored at blogging or influencer marketing.
Right.
So the major difference is that we connect brands with the people who matter, their own customer base.
Okay.
They spend billions getting customers to the point of conversion, purchasing a product or a service. Now that they're spending so much money up to that point, why not get those customers to express their opinions, to express their reviews, recommendations, experiences?
Yeah.
And if enough brands do that systematically, then that creates word of mouth at scale.
Of course.
So the other group of startups that are targeting this space, they work with, for example, restaurants, whereby you take a photo and you get something directly from that restaurant in terms of, let's say, a dessert or something in return, right? What we do is that we have a social loyalty point system. So no matter what experience you share about any of the brands out there, the loyalty points you collect, you can spend it anywhere. Like Nectar points, similar to Nectar points.
Which is probably actually a little bit better, because rather than just taking a photo in a coffee shop and now all you're going to get is like a free coffee next time you go there, at least you can build up rewards and you can spend them as you like. What I was going to say, I was going to talk about when it comes to taking photographs on, say, Instagram and you're constantly in a brand, at what stage do you become that person that's annoying? You know, it's kind of like every time I see them, they're taking a photo with a different brand. Right? At what stage do they become that? Because you obviously want them to dilute it down as well, don't you?
Absolutely. So authenticity is at the core of what we do. The name Puckit comes from the word pucker, which means authentic.
Yeah.
So we don't want mass consumers, the everyday people like you and I, to change their behavior on social media.
Okay.
When I go to a restaurant, I'm not taking a photo to promote the restaurant. I'm just sharing my awesome experience with my friends and family. But it happens to be at that restaurant. And that's what makes it very authentic and powerful. The moment that everyday people try to promote a product or a service so directly to their following on social media, then it loses its power and authenticity.
Yeah.
So on our platform, we kind of track the behavioral posts. So on our platform, we do kind of take into account the behavior of the user before they join the platform and after they join the platform. And we put limits on how many times they can share a photo and then get rewarded in return by those brands.
Okay.
So one post every 3 days, one post every week or something like that.
Brilliant.
And then we tell them to be themselves, not an influencer, not a blogger, just to share their everyday experiences, life experiences, and then brands are going to be there in the background, and then they would get rewarded.
What type of response are you getting from the brands? Because you obviously work with the brands and you work with the end consumer, right? So what type of response are you getting from the brands? Because brands will also see that this type of engagement coming from their user is far more engaging than them trying to do it themselves. So when you go knocking on the door, picking up the phone, getting brands involved in what you're doing, are they welcoming you with open arms, or are they a little bit standoffish? Because I know some companies think that they can manage this all themselves. So what type of response have you been getting?
Well, it's very surprising to them, first of all, that this idea has come about, because since 2000, when this whole .com digital environment came about, digital economy, the whole model is based on taking people's data and attention for granted and feeding them with interruptive forced ads.
Yeah.
So all the brands out there, corporate social media platforms, are built on people's data and attention. They take it for granted. They force us to watch ads that we don't want to watch. So up until now, it's been running like that.
Yeah.
So telling them that you can put that aside and you can empower your own customer base to be the advocates of your brand, it's something that will require getting used to a little bit. But once they realize that there is a big value in rewarding their customers and encouraging them to be more active in terms of talking about their brand experiences online, then they can see the return on investment, the loyalty improvement, as well as the acquisition of new customers through the network of friends and family. And whenever we get like this argument that, okay, brands can do it, imagine a brand like Lego or Starbucks. They have millions of customers. If they invite their customer base to share something on social media, then suddenly you get thousands of posts.
Yeah.
How do you validate all these posts? How do you make sure that these profiles are genuine? How do you make sure that you reward each person proportionally? And then these people would be rewarded with vouchers and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do it manually, you would need a team of, 100 people to go through all these posts one by one. What we bring to the table is that we have natural language processing techniques as well as machine vision techniques, whereby every time a post is shared by those users on our platform that have connected their Instagram account to our app, we get to analyze the visual content and the textual content. If there is a reference to those brands that are partnered up with us, then we take that post into account, we calculate the engagements, and then we give them loyalty points, which are then redeemable for vouchers, discounts, gift cards, so on and so forth.
Before we end, I want to talk about your funding. You raised 50,000 pre-seed.
Yep.
Was that from friends and family? How did you raise the money?
So it was the leading German accelerator called APX by Axel Springer and Porsche. So we moved to Berlin for 100 days.
Nice.
We were part of the acceleration program. We recently finished that. We are back in London looking for a seed investment or a bridge round, because we do have a runway going into 2020. So that's where we are at the moment. So talking to angel networks, VCs, so on and so on.
You raised the 50,000 though already, did you?
Yes.
You did. How did you raise that? Like, was that from the accelerator?
Yes,
it was from them directly. Okay,
yeah,
brilliant.
it was directly from them.
And what have you been able to spend that money on? Was that developing the app?
So from a product point of view, we've got 3 people working on the tech side. So we are quite mature on that side. We needed that money for marketing as well as sales. So we are spending most of that on marketing and sales at the moment.
Brilliant. Well, look, thank you so much for coming in to us and explaining what your company does.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.